Welcome to today's session on QoS Interview Essentials for 2025. If you're preparing for interviews or brushing up your networking fundamentals, this video is for you. We'll go through 12 must-know QoS concepts that always come up in interviews, and I'll share a ready-to-use WAN policy template at the end. Make sure to stick around and grab the free cheat sheet. Question 1. DiffServ and Trust Boundaries. Let's begin with DiffServ. Interviewers love to test if you understand how QoS classification works at ingress. You should know the common per-hop behaviors: EF for voice, AFXI classes for video and data, and CS classes for control traffic. The rule of thumb: always mark at ingress, define your trust boundaries, and remark dirty DSCP values at the edge of your network. And remember, IPv4 TOS and IPv6 traffic class fields carry DSCP and ECN in the same way. Question 2. LLQ versus CBWFQ. Next is queuing. Low latency queuing, or LLQ, gives strict priority to voice. But uncontrolled LLQ can starve other classes. That's why you must always police or cap the PQ traffic and never enable WRED inside PQ. Then we have class-based weighted fair queuing, CBWFQ, which allows you to assign bandwidth percentages to multiple data classes. Pro tip: keep interactive video in AF41 with bandwidth and WRED, not inside the PQ. Question 3. Shaping versus policing. One of the most common pitfalls: mixing up shaping and policing. Shaping smooths traffic bursts down to the CIR, buffering excess. Policing drops or remarks packets above the configured rate. Interviewers may ask about the math: CIR, BC, BE. A good starting point is BC case CIR x 10 to 25 milliseconds. And don't forget hierarchical QoS, where the parent shaper runs at link rate and child policies handle the classes. Question 4. WRED versus tail drop. Tail drop is simple. The queue fills and then packets start dropping. But this causes synchronization and poor performance. Weighted random early detection, WRED, fixes this by dropping early based on queue depth and DSCP. Always enable ECN with WRED for TCP friendliness. And remember, never enable WRED on the priority queue. PQ must remain strict. Question 5. QoS Through Tunnels. In modern WANs, traffic often flows through tunnels: GRE, IPsec, VXLAN, or even SRv6. Key rule: always preserve or copy inner DSCP ECN to the outer header and double-check your device defaults. Apply classification and marking before encapsulation, and shape or police after encapsulation. For SRv6, markings live in the IPv6 traffic class. Consistency across the path is critical. Question 6. MPLS QoS Models. MPLS brings in 3 models: pipe, short pipe, and uniform. Pipe is most common. The IP DSCP is not copied at egress. Uniform copies DSCP from MPLS back into IP at the edge. You should also know ELSPs, where EXP bits define PHPs, and LLSPs, where the label defines the class. Always check with your provider which model they use to avoid double marking or misclassification. Question 7. IPv6 QoS Parity and Flow-Label. In IPv6, QoS works the same as IPv4. DSCP and ECN live in the traffic class field. One extra: the Flow-Label, which helps with ECMP hashing stability. Best practice: preserve DSCP end-to-end. Never strip markings at NAT or firewalls. That's a red flag for interviewers. Question 8. Buffers, BDP and serialization. A classic theory question: BDP or bandwidth delay product? It's bandwidth times RTT, and it helps size queues on WAN links. On low-speed links, use link fragmentation and interleaving, or LFI, and optionally compressed RTP to reduce serialization delay. And remember to shape to line rate. This absorbs microbursts and protects downstream buffers. Question 9. Access link overheads. Access technologies like PPPoE, DSL, GPON, or dock size add overhead bytes. That means your 100 Mb service might actually need shaping to 90-95 Mb to stay safe. Always confirm framing and MTU with your provider and adjust your shaper rates accordingly. Question 10. Real-time classes. The EF class should be tightly controlled. One small priority queue, usually capped at 20-30% on slow links with a policer. AF41 for video gets bandwidth and WRED but not PQ. And don't forget call admission control, CAC. It prevents too many calls from overrunning EF. Question 11. Verification and troubleshooting. In interviews, practical verification is often tested. You should be able to check class counters, drops, ECN marks, and queue depths. Packet captures help verify DSCP pre- and post-tunnel or NAT. And always run synthetic tests like iPerf or VoIP probes per class to validate your design. Or question 12. Example. 100 MB 10 WAN template. Here's a solid example you can reuse. Take a 100 MB internet WAN link. Shape it to 95 MB for overhead safety. Assign EF 10%, video AF41 20%, mission critical 25%, best effort 24%, bulk 20%, scavenger 1%. Enable WRED with ECN on the AF classes. And cap EF with both a policer and a PQ percent. This shows interviewers you can design something practical, not just theoretical. That wraps up our QoS interview essentials for 2025. Download the free cheat sheet using the link below. Comment your toughest QoS question. It might appear in our next video. And don't forget to hit subscribe.